Hey gang, this is Ben, and I want to welcome you all to this episode of the Semper Gumby channel. Well, this episode we are going to be talking about diesel heaters once more. Because of the popularity of diesel heaters, it is just flooding the winter camping community. And I have one in my Promaster van, and I tell you what, it is the best piece of equipment that I've purchased and the best piece of gear that I've ever had. And I would not do any winter camping without that diesel heater. This right here is the HCalory diesel heater. It's the SS2 model. And this is different than the one that I have inside of the van. It's built a little bit different. It's set up a little bit different, but this is a perfect, well, I guess I should say I found the perfect heater for the van. And the heater that's in the van is going to go in the camper. So we're going to go check it out and see what's all involved and what do you get in this box. And I want to thank HCalory for being a sponsor of today's video. They did send us this diesel heater for testing and review. So we're going to dig deep in here. We're going to set it up. We're going to see what's in there. We're going to hook it up, and then we're going to power it up. That way you guys can see what is all involved in a diesel heater. Now, the great thing about diesel heaters is, one, they are super efficient. They do run on diesel fuel, and you can run about a tank and a half or a full tank of gas, which this one's, I think it's about a little over a gallon and about a gallon and a half, anywhere between 14 and 16 hours, and get super dry heat. And when I say dry heat, it does not leave any kind of condensation or moisture in your vehicle, your camper, or your van, or your overlanding rig, or your tent. Now, the Mr. Buddy heaters, you know, the propane heaters, they leave more of a wet type of heat. And with your breathing and all that stuff, it creates condensation, and it drips from the top of your tent, on the sides of your walls, on your windows. And, you know, after a period of time, the condensation isn't great for stuff like this camper, which the inside is all wood. Now, I went camping in 10-degree weather 2 weeks ago, and that diesel heater performed so well that I had to turn it off in the middle of the night because it got too hot. This one right here is a little bit different setup. The case, the intake, and the exhaust. I mean, we need to check it out. So let's go check this thing out. Okay, let's open this box up and see what's all in here. You're going to get a user manual. The great thing with this diesel heater, you're going to get a AC power cord, and you can run this heater either AC powered or DC powered. You're going to get your little muffler or your little silencer right there, and some brackets and some screws. You're also going to get a 12-volt cord, which you can direct to your battery or your power source. Get some really cool little hose clamps. And your exhaust. Okay. Now the only thing that this doesn't come with is a heater hose, and we'll address that here in a second. Now, when you first look at the box, it looks like a little toolbox or a little tackle box. I mean, it's pretty compact. It is only 15 inches long, about 9.5 inches wide, and about 9 inches tall. So it is pretty compact. If you look on the top of the box, you're going to get a nice solid handle which folds down. It's not flimsy, it's a pretty sturdy handle. On the right side, it looks like, you know, a little storage container on your tackle box, but you'll have a remote control, your on off and your adjustment for high or low. And then on the other side, you do have a, I don't know if you guys can see that, a remote control or a controller with an LCD screen to control the box itself. Now when you open the heater, I mean, you've got your heater itself here. You got your necessary, pretty much your necessary wiring. Everything's all pre-wired. And then of course you've got your diesel tank, and it's all integrated and all built in. So if you got to move it from vehicle to vehicle or from RV or to wherever, you can do that fairly easy. Up to 6 liters of fuel, and you have a little sight gauge glass here. And we'll fill it up in a little bit, but we'll probably do about a quarter just to test to see if there's any leaks or any loose hoses on there. And this is where your exhaust for your heat comes out. So it's pretty simple. On the other side, you do have your outlet of where your 12 volt or your AC outlet will go into, and pretty much that's it on the left and right side. Now on the bottom of the unit, you do have your exhaust, which has a little elbow that comes out on the left side. And the really cool thing is, compared to the other diesel heaters, is the filter for your intake is built in right here on the bottom. And you don't need to run a separate intake hose. And this intake stays above the length of the legs. So when you do have it down, your intake is not hitting the ground or anything. So that is a really cool feature of this diesel heater. And like I said, it's made by HCalory. And I mean, it is simple as can be. And we're going to install this here in a little bit into the van. And I was going to install it into the Promaster, but after thinking about it, I got the one in there all piped in, all set up. It's perfect where it's at. So I think I'm going to leave that one in the Promaster, and I think I'm going to leave this one, or set it up, have it for the camper. So I think it might be a smarter move, and later on down the line, if one fails, I can always move one to the other. Hopefully that'll never happen, but I think having this one here probably makes more sense instead of rerouting and rerouting everything. And so the sensible thing to do is to just mount it or just use it for the camper. We only got probably another about 2 more months worth of cold weather. I can also put it in the truck. So let's go ahead and set this up, and then we're going to go ahead and fire it up and see how everything runs. So we're going to go ahead and install the diesel heater exhaust, and it does come with all the necessary hardware, the hose clamps and all the good stuff. And for today, we're not going to really crank down on it. We're just going to use it to just fire this up and see how everything runs and get the just get the thing fired up and doing some tests. Now they do come with a a little muffler with some baffles in there. Now if you're going to install this, always install it with the hole, this little hole pointing down, so that way if there's any kind of condensation in there, it drains to the bottom and then drains out to the atmosphere. But always remember, always have that hole right here down. All right, let's go ahead and fill up, put a little bit of diesel in here. And I know I'm going to get some comments on this. Is yes, this is a red can, and I know diesel is supposed to be yellow, but for video purposes, just imagine that this can is yellow. Have you ever seen the price of a yellow diesel can versus a red can? It's like $20 difference. Just of course it's yellow, but like I said, for video purposes, just make believe that this is yellow. Okay, we've got fuel in here. All right, gang, so you can see in this little plastic sight glass that we have about that much fuel. Now the exhaust will come out from this side, and the hot air exhaust, the dry heat is going to come out from this hole right here. Just be aware, if you do purchase this from HCalory, it does not come with an exhaust tube. You can purchase that separately on Amazon or anything like that. So for today's purposes, we are just going to face it outwards, and we're not going to use a hose or anything. In my last video, Where's the Heat, I talked about DC power, 12 volt power plugs to go to the power station from the heater. Now a lot of the power stations only have 10 amp plugs or 10 amp 12 volt plugs. You need at least 15 amps to start up the diesel heater. So a lot of folks like myself, we either wire it in straight into a 12 volt lithium battery, or we use a DC to AC, converter or inverter, or this HCalory comes with a pretty much power brick that I can use AC power. So that isn't an issue, and I'll use my Bluetti AC 180p, and it'll run it all night. Between the Bluetti and the HCalory, these are some of the most efficient gear that you can get, and it'll keep you warm all night long. But with this new system, it makes it a breeze because you can use AC or DC. So I like this unit a lot. So let's go ahead and power on our Bluetti, and then we'll see how much power this thing takes. So this heater does have a Bluetooth app, but right now I'm unsure. I need to read a little bit more on it because I have two heaters and I don't know if it picks up both of them or only works with one. I'll figure it out, and then I'll post an update. Also, it does come with a remote. I've got to get a battery for it. It does not have, they do not come with batteries, but they do have a nice little section where you can store it. Okay, so we got fuel in it. We've got the exhaust hook up. Let's go ahead and power this thing on.
Start heating.
So first thing it do, it'll tell you it's start heating. And right now you'll hear the fan kick on. And it'll take about 2 or 3 minutes for everything to process through. So right now I am drawing about 88 watts just on the fan itself. Hope you guys can see that. There you go. And it's showing that it's heating up. The fan is blowing, but it's not, the glow plugs aren't, it's not heated up yet. And I don't hear the fuel pump ticking. Okay, now it's up to 220 watts. Okay. Okay. You hear the fuel pump priming right now. It's doing a prime. Now the fan is slowly coming up to speed. I can smell a little bit of the exhaust in the garage here, and that's normal. We are at 250 to 60. Starting to feel some hot, warm air coming out. Wow. And now the glow plugs just backed off, and now we are only drawing 3640 watts at 3/4 of heat. Let's back it down to, let's go to full. That thing is warm. Okay, gang, we got this thing blasted all the way at full heat, and I don't see not one bit of diesel smoke coming out from the exhaust. This thing is clean and efficient. Ooh, that's hot. Do not put your hand close to that pipe. Okay, we are at our full blast, and we're only drawing 57 watts on here. So we're gonna bring it down to halfway. If we're in the camper, we wouldn't be using it full blast because this thing will fry you out. So let's bring it down to about half, and we'll see what it runs as far as wattage on the Bluetti, and then we'll let it run like that for about 2 or 3 hours. Okay, folks, we just bought the diesel heater down to level 5. That's right in the middle. And we checked out the Bluetti AC 180p, and it's only drawing 25 watts. 25 watts! At that rate, I can power or run this diesel heater all night long until I run out of 1.5 gallons worth of fuel. And I don't think I can run it at level 5 because it would probably bake cookies. I guess I could bake cookies and cook meat inside of the camper. I would probably bring it down to level 1 or 2 and crack open a window or anything like that, even in 10 or 20 degree weather, because this thing puts out some heat. So this thing is amazing. HCalory puts out some great products, but I am very impressed with this diesel heater, and it's the ticket for winter camping. So if you look at my Bluetti, it's showing 85% at 24 watts. I can run this diesel heater on what it is on its current wattage for 26.9 hours. 26.9 hours just on the diesel heater. So it's pretty efficient, especially if you're boondocking, dispersed camping, or off the grid. Like I mentioned, this HCalory SS2 does not come with a heater exhaust hose. So you would have to purchase this separate on Amazon, or you can go to any big box hardware store. But this is a 3-inch hose, and it would actually, let me see if I can get it here, go on to the exhaust here where the hot air comes out, and I would actually pipe it in to the camper right here. Let me show you where I would do it at. And it would go right there from the heater, and that would be piped in to the camper right there. So I would have heat coming in to the camper from outside, and either I can make a box for the heater, or I can set the heater underneath the camper to prevent it from getting wet or something like that. I'll figure something out, but this seems the best setup for me for this camper. Okay gang, it's been about 3 hours. The diesel heater's been running in the garage, of course with the garage door open, so I wouldn't die from carbon monoxide poisoning, and no one that's watching here would have to take care of my fur missile, Hoku. I'm sure there's a lot of you that would have stepped up and came and took care of her. But we're gonna go ahead and shut it down. It'll go through a bunch of steps during shutdown. One thing to note, if you do get a diesel heater, when you shut down the unit, let the unit shut down on its own completely. Do not disconnect power, because there's still fuel in the lines and it still has to purge everything through the system. If you disconnect power while there's still fuel in the line and the exhaust and it's still heat up, you risk the chance of your heater fouling up, and that's when you can get a lot of smoke, a lot of soot. So let it run on its own. As you can see, I don't even have the muffler on, and there is zero white smoke or diesel. I don't even smell the diesel exhaust. That's very bad at all. So let's go ahead and shut it down.
Stop heating.
So that's in a nutshell. These things are amazing. Like I mentioned before, it is efficient. It burns clean. You don't have to worry about emissions as long as you exhaust the diesel away from wherever you're going to be sleeping or where you're at. Like I said, the camper, I'll be inside. All this will be vented outside. In the van, it vents through the floor out underneath the van. And you might want to consider of getting a carbon monoxide. So gang, that's it. I mean, it's very, very simple, especially from HCalory. All their diesel heaters is all self-contained, or the fuel tanks are connected to the unit itself. You saw the one in the van. Here, let's go look at that real quick. This is the one I've got in the van. I do have an external fuel tank, but it's bolted to the unit itself, the exhaust, and then the heater. And of course, I've got my power that I'll hook up to my battery, but everything is right there. And this is the other model, the HCalory, their regular model, and this is the SS2. Okay, that was it. It shut itself down and said, thank you for using. I wish you a safe journey. So, these things, diesel heaters, are amazing. And HCalory has made it so it's easy to transport, easy to install. I mean, it doesn't take very long. Whether you get the SS2 Pro model or the model I've got in the van, depending on your application of how you want to set it up, they're both great heaters. The one in the van that I bought is about $125. You can get that on Amazon. This one right here is a little bit more. You're going to be paying about $240. You can probably get it for about, $220 if it's on sale. And I'll put the links and everything on the description below. And you can also go to HCalory, and you can go to the link right up here, and hopefully I'll provide you a link so you can save you some money. But both of them are also on Amazon, but these things are amazing. And what I love about them, like I mentioned before, they are so simple to set up. A screwdriver, is all you need. And as long as you exhaust the diesel away from where you're sleeping or going to be, I'm going to be in the camper. The diesel heater will be outside. The exhaust does not come in the van. I've got it through the floor, underneath the van and away, pointing out. I don't smell it in the van at all. But I would recommend getting a carbon monoxide monitor or a sensor. So that, if you do get any kind of, okay, we heard you. If we do get any, I said I heard you. If you do get any kind of levels, it will alert you. If you fall asleep, this will wake you up, but you shouldn't have any problems if you vent it out right. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. Remember, subscribe, comment, and like. That really helps out the channel. That supports the channel, and really thank you for joining us. So until the next video, this is Semper Gumby out.